Alrighty, we back with another video. What's up? It's your boy Domuto. We back with another video. I said the same thing twice. Anyway, we're watching Ultra Vegito. And we're watching Ultra Vegito's DNA becomes part of Cell. Alright. Ultra Vegito part of Cell. So Cell is gonna get DNA from Ultra Vegito, so he's about to be strong as fuck. Super Saiyan 2 Gohan's not going to be able to handle that at all. So this is about to be a wash. So we'll see where this goes. Let's go.
So our story continues after Vegito had just met the Z Fighters, having told them to leave the battlefield now that both the android menaces they just spent 3 years training for had been eradicated by Vegito himself. Before, without warning, Ultra Vegito turns around, now surrounding himself in aura, as he yells, "I thought I told you punks to get moving. Or do you need me to help you? What are you doing? This energy, it's rising! Is he turning on us?" Which of course begins to alarm the not so cocky now Vegito, who had just witnessed the power of the mystery figure. Slowly, in typical God-killer fashion, Vegito raises his hand, in the same way he would just before Hakaiing his foes, until suddenly, in a throwback to Nappa, Vegito holds up 2 fingers whispering, "Get lost!" But unlike Nappa, the 2 fingers don't destroy the surrounding area, but instead coat the broken laboratory doors on the ground in the same aura that coated Vegito, and within seconds they levitate up from the ground and reach back up to the entrance of the cave until, with a loud and abrupt bang, the doors along with the crumbling surrounding rocks create a makeshift barrier to seal the entrance forevermore. What? Did he? Guess he wasn't kidding after all. As each of the Z Fighters outside remain dumbfounded by the huge turn of events, basically now having been gatekept by an all-powerful figure from continuing any further.
Yeah, might as well just go home, man.
Just take Vegito's word for it, the threat is now over. Or challenge him and suffer brutal and guaranteed defeat. Finally, some peace and quiet. Ready for me, Doctor?
Pause.
Leaving Ultra Vegito with a pleased smile, as finally his interaction with the rest of the Z Fighters is now surely put to an end, and he can get down to business. But from the outside, the makeshift barrier soon then closes completely to be even tighter and stronger than ever before, as everyone else, including Vegeta, just remains stunned into quietness. The silence only being broken when Krillin exclaims, "Hey, you guys aren't actually thinking of breaking that door down again, are you? Because he wasn't lying.
The water.
Whoever he was, he did destroy that powerful android you warned us about. Right, Trunks? I don't think we should tempt fate here." And for a moment, future Trunks, hearing this, stays silent, not knowing what to say, before finally replying, yeah, that was definitely Android 17. I couldn't forget that monster's face even if I tried.
Damn.
And now, he's gone. Him and his sister come as a pair. If 17's gone, I couldn't imagine his sister not doing something about it. So it must be as that guy said. He destroyed her too.
Yep.
But as Trunks says
what y'all gonna do,
with
Trunks?
a forlorn look, as if still not satisfied, Tien Shinhan is quick to point out, well, what's the problem then? Listen, the way I see it, we trained all this time to defeat those 2 guys you warned us about. You warned us so that we could survive, and so they would be destroyed. Well, we're alive, including Goku, and those 2 are gone. We should be celebrating. I'm with Krillin. I say we don't push our luck and just leave that guy alone.
Nah.
But despite Tien's logic, future Trunks still feels something is very off. as he continues. But this guy didn't exist in my timeline, Tien. And neither did that other android you fought. Android 19. I feel like my arrival here has changed a lot already in your timeline.
Definitely.
But not in the ways me and my mother hoped. I can't be sure yet if this is good, or I have caused something even worse to happen instead. But you're probably right to leave this alone. He's not attacking us, and at least if something does happen now down the line, we'll have Goku with us soon. Mother told me that on certain times like this, he'd always come through. But with future Trunks obviously pressing the Goku button again right in front of the prince, it finally makes Vegeta snap. Kakarot? You think Kakarot would make a damn difference here? These amateurs may not have just realized what they saw, but that thing in there is on a whole other level.
Definitely.
He's like a god compared to us. What was the damn point of becoming a Super Saiyan? The legendary warrior my father told me of, if it was this easily outclassed. As soon, the utter rage and jealousy building in Vegeta becomes so palpable, it switches from the veins that bulge on his forehead to bursting forth from his body as a golden aura consumes him until... With a roar, he blasts his energy outwards, powering to what seems to be his max.
What's the point of this, Vegeta?
Screaming as he does so, I will surpass my limits! This is not over!
So you still have a fit, even if Android 18 is breaking his arm.
His power up with no regard for anyone else, as he gets everything off his chest. Trunks, Krillin, Tien, and Piccolo all just covering themselves in shock, wondering what on earth the prince is doing. What the hell is your problem, Vegeta? Cool it before that guy comes back out! Shut it, Green Man. You and these weaklings can hide in fear all you want, but I will go get myself a new power. A power to surpass a Super Saiyan.
Good luck.
And I'll destroy that clown for taking my kill. Instantly, in typical hard-headed Vegeta fashion, then flying off at speed into the distance in search of surpassing his limits once more. Father. Leaving future Trunks meanwhile to think on Vegeta's words and what they could mean. A power to surpass a Super Saiyan? What does he mean? Could there really be a form beyond what we have already?
It could be.
But Piccolo, who takes Trunks' confused look for wondering what that outburst was about, just explains, Don't worry about him, Trunks. That's just Vegeta. His ego has been severely damaged by what he just witnessed. He's probably headed back to Capsule Corp to train right now. And he's not wrong too. We should all be continuing our training. If not for him, for any future threats that will come. We dodged a bullet today, but that's not to say we won't have tougher battles in the future. To which Trunks once again stays silent for a moment to think introspectively before letting out, Yeah, you're probably right. In any scenario, we all need to get stronger. I just wish Father would just be a little less rash. And with that, all of the remaining Z fighters nod in agreement before shooting off into the sky, ultimately deciding to leave Ultra Vegito finally to his own devices. Meanwhile, back with Ultra Vegito, finally alone with the Doctor, he addresses him. So, you heard me then, Jiro. When exactly are you going to get to work? I need a new arm, but not like that garbage you gave yourself in that blob 19. I need what you gave 17. No, even stronger than that.
Even stronger, okay.
But Jiro, hearing this, is far from impressed. Instead, actually incensed, still, that he's being spoken to like a mere slave. as he thinks, who does he think he is? I'm no servant to be used as and when he wants. He should be my slave.
But he's not.
Slave to my android abilities and infinite life. This man just destroyed my life's work in an instant. Now expects me to just work for him without question. And with his frustration bubbling over, for a moment, Dr. Giraud loses sight of who he's talking to and yells back, "How dare you speak to me like that? Do you have any idea who I am? I was revered around the world, paid millions to work when you were still in nappies.
But nobody gives a fuck.
You think I'll work for nothing in return? Tell me this. What will you do if I refuse? You've already destroyed everything I ever lived for.
Yeah, but he saved your life.
Why do you think I'd fear death by your hand?" But Vegito, who is completely unfazed by Giraud's apparent bravery in the face of death threats, just replies calmly, "Well, if you didn't agree to make my arm, it's no problem really. I'd just find another way. Maybe visit Dr. Brief instead. But what I would do is of course first kill you, slowly and agonizingly, before then destroying that lunk of metal, Android 16 over there. And then finally, come for your precious baby, Cell. And I'd erase him from the face of the earth before he ever got to be born. Now how does that sound, Doctor?" What? Did you just say? Of course, hearing this, Dr. Giraud is left nothing short of gobsmacked. So much information that just couldn't be known by anyone other than himself, as he immediately queries, How? How could he possibly know about Cell as well? 16 is one thing, but this is impossible.
He said my son is one thing, but Cell? Hell no.
This creature cannot be mortal nor from this dimension. That kind of knowledge has to be otherworldly. And he knows, even if I've lost 17 and 18, I cannot lose Cell. Cell is my only hope for revenge on this damned planet. Now completely beaten mentally and accepting his predicament, Dr. Giraud solemnly looks at the ground and remains in total silence.
I love the Cell art.
Using the mass computer power stored within his body to compute exactly what he must do for the highest probability of survival, before eventually looking up at Vegito and lifting his arm to point to his right. He finally then concedes. Okay, I get it. I give up. You win. Your existence and knowledge of things you should not know will most likely never be answered. So let us just begin and get this over with. Come here and get on the operating table.
Oh, me? I'll get on it.
As you wish.
No, did he?
And on hearing this, an immediate smirk of gratification then finds itself to Vegito's face, knowing he had finally broken the old man down to get what he wanted, as he lets out finally, Excellent, Doctor. I knew you'd see it my way eventually. I guess you toasters can be useful sometimes.
Called your ass a toaster. How you feel about that?
And so some days pass, and we eventually return to see Ultra Vegito in an operating room within Giraud's lab, with the android doctor himself beside, overseeing everything that is happening. Most curiously though, as we peer at the presumably unconscious Vegito's face, we notice, even when connected up to oxygen and with his eyes closed, he still maintains his ultra form. A showcase of either just how much he has now mastered the form, or a sign he is ready even in this state for any sudden attack from Giraud.
I was wondering that. Why he's still in his
ultra form that now want his head. But most importantly, now in place of where his left arm once was, is a completely robotic arm. Still in what seems to be an alpha stage with no skin covering it, and noticeably thicker and more durable than even the ultra-powerful limbs of 17 and 18. The beginning of Cyborg Ultra Vegito's story has just begun. But as Dr. Gero watches over, it's clear he does still bear hatred in his heart and a mystery ulterior motive, as he thinks to himself, with him being so vulnerable right now, you'd think I could just finish him as is. Maybe with poison. Maybe by implanting a self-detonating bomb on his heart. But with there being no data on him, and just how easily he dealt with 17 and 18,
yes, sir.
I wouldn't even be surprised if he could wake up at the very minute I attempted anything. No science in the world could ever explain exactly the kind of powers I have witnessed from this man. But soon, deep in his thoughts,
get that DNA.
a smile for some reason comes to Gero as he continues, but if I'm to be forced like this, like a pitiful dog to do his wishes, by God, I will receive compensation in my own way.
Better get that DNA.
His techniques, his DNA. Whoever and whatever this is will be fed directly to you, my greatest creation. You will no longer need those weaklings 17 and 18. With this fool's power, Cell will finally become perfect. Far stronger than he could have ever been with the twins. Goku, just you wait and see. And soon with that said, deep in another laboratory far off, a machine continues to work autonomously, containing a small creature. A creature that, as we get closer to, all of us as OG Dragon Ball Z fans recognize as none other than Baby Cell.
Baby Cell. Krillin took it.
With one
Krillin really killed Cell first.
Horrific difference.
That'd be honest.
And just like that, with the DNA techniques and power of Ultra Vegito, this version of Cell gains Ultra Instinct. A new terror in this timeline that will surpass all others has been created by Vegito once again. And speaking of Vegito, a week later we see him once again, his back turned, now in his base form, and finally with a new top, as we can hear him mutter, "Wow, that old geezer really did do a fine job here. I can barely tell it from my old arm. It even feels the same." As soon, when we see it from the front, Vegito was indeed not lying, as the new arm now is completely lifelike, grafted on with skin that perfectly matches Vegito, finally making the smirking Saiyan whole once again, as he says, "Yes, everything went to plan.
It did, huh?
I'm even healed up, and the Zenkai I've just got from that long rest, oh boy, am I on another level right now. Not to mention, looks like Gero added all the little upgrades I needed too." And as soon as we get a closer look into the palm of Vegito's new robotic arm, it's clear at least what one of the upgrades was, as in the center of it is one of Dr. Gero's signature energy absorption devices, the same ones both he and 19 had. As Vegito then directly looks into the shining center and explains, "Perfect, just perfect. This combined with my spirit vision abilities that I learned on Yardrat will allow me to take
crazy
the
combination.
lives of those gods.
That's a crazy combination.
I'll take their damn godly key too." But soon, noticing that Dr. Gero is also in the room, Vegito turns his head and abruptly questions, "So, old man, you're absolutely sure that this will allow me to absorb as much energy as I want, right? The same as what you and that refrigerator 19 had? I wouldn't want to have to come back here for a refund. His senses have already come back to him. How is he possibly sensing the presence of an android like myself when I have no key? But realizing there's no more point in questioning the unending abilities of Vegito, he then responds, "Yes, just as you wished. I've modified and supplied you a version that's even more advanced than ours. One that is more suitable to your own vastly different capabilities. You should be able to absorb as much energy as your body can handle.
That's tough.
But after studying your DNA and anatomy closely, it's hard to know if you even have limits." But Vegito, hearing this, only realizes one part of what Giro had said, gaining a cocky look on his mug before replying, "So you had a little look under the hood while I was unconscious, huh, Doctor? You know, I'm not sure that's even legal, you little perv, but whatever. What I need to know is, did you make all of the upgrades I needed, including that special one I needed done?" Hearing Vegito's first insinuation though, an awkward sweat drip comes down Dr. Giro's head as he mutters back,
"Even that special one, what's that mean?"
"I only looked at what was necessary, actually." Before then continuing, "But yes, it took some work, some of my best even. And I still don't know how you knew so confidently about what I was capable of doing. But regardless, I've included each and every one of your requirements. Now, as promised, I have to ask you, will you leave here and spare my life as promised?" But Vegito instead gives no reply, opting to stare at Giro menacingly with a curious look as he walks towards the doctor, slowly but purposely not uttering a word until, in a surprising act, he begins lifting 2 fingers, seemingly ready to finally turn on the doctor. But what kind of gruesome method will he choose to dispose of him with? "What are you doing? Stay back! I did everything as you asked! You promised me! You promised me!"
Man, fuck you.
"You really took a stranger's word for granted? You really are the dumbest genius I ever laid my eyes on, aren't you? Unfortunately, this is the way things have to go." But in an incredible turn of events, Vegito ends up just patting the doctor on his shoulder, now with a far more inviting smile reminiscent of Goku, as he lets out, "Calm down. Don't have a heart attack. I'm letting you survive, but not because of a simple promise. I'm letting you survive because you are a weakling, and no threat to the fighters here anymore without your puppets. 18 and 17 had to go. I already know all about your plan to have them be absorbed by your darling cell so that he can become perfect. If you've been wondering, I know all of this because I'm from the future. And in my timeline,
you do know about the DNA thing, though.
Worked. You were killed by 17 in just the same way he attempted earlier. But eventually, Cell did get a hold of him and his sister, but only to be eventually defeated by Son Gohan, the first Super Saiyan 2.
Damn, just keep telling them.
This information
you can make a better plan and better androids.
It's shocking
This is
enough
dumb
to
as
hear
hell.
the
Why would you
existence
tell
of
them this?
time travel, but now also the inconceivable defeat of a perfect Cell, as he continues. The future. Impossible. Time travel. There's no way that could be achieved. Son Gohan. Son Goku's child defeated my perfect Cell. This is preposterous. You surely can't expect me to believe that. If you're so sure about this, then why even destroy them? Surely things would have turned out just as you said anyway.
But Vegito, who is thoroughly unimpressed now, then continues.
For a brilliant scientist, you sure are short-sighted. Just my appearance in this timeline has already shifted things completely. If I had let 17 and 18 live, there was no guarantee at all the rest of the timeline would go as normal. In fact, it would most definitely not. My timeline already had someone from the future arrive, and he ended up changing the events of our future completely when compared to his. What I did at the very least guaranteed Cell's destruction, now that he can never become perfect. And whatever way you cut it, that would always be a good thing for the future of this universe.
He can make more androids.
Dr. Gero again then becomes withdrawn, realizing what Vegito says is right, and finally asks,
I see. So, what now? I guess you'll finish the job and find my dear Cell and destroy him too?
But Vegito surprisingly has other ideas and responds,
No, I wouldn't even know where to start looking anyway. But even then, he too is worth nothing, now that he can't absorb 17 or 18. In his imperfect form, he's now hardly any stronger than Piccolo once he fuses with Kami. But now that Goku and Vegeta are still alive too, there's not a hope in hell left for him. He'll die by their hands, not mine.
Some bad choice of words.
Suddenly, after hearing this, Gero realizes something significant, thinking to himself,
Wait, he doesn't know. Of course he doesn't. He has no idea I implanted Cell with his DNA and data. He still thinks of Cell as being the same imperfect form that just about equals 16 in strength. I have to go along with this. This is my chance.
This dumbass.
And so Vegito begins walking away finally, his back turned to the doctor until...
Listen, old man. Just give it up. The androids, Cell, they were all destined to be defeated by Goku and his friends, regardless of whether I was here or not. It took you decades to build them. Time you could have spent advancing human civilization by light years. You could have done a lot of good. Just don't waste any more of your time chasing this pipe dream. Just live your life in quiet, because if you don't, I will be back.
Oh shit.
And at first, a streak of fear rushes through Dr. Gero, but eventually he calms himself and replies,
Yes, I agree.
Yes.
Now that I know beings like you can arrive at any time from the future, there has become just one too many variables to account for.
He capping. He not scared.
Continuing this plan for revenge is now just pointless.
To which Vegeta responds,
Good to hear. Revenge. Pointless.
Before then snapping his fingers in the air, suddenly summoning Whis' staff as if after his Zenkai,
oh wait,
his
Beer's asleep. I was like, why? How come Whis and Beer
has
didn't
increased
pull
even
up?
further.
But Beer's
He
asleep.
looks down at it one final time
Whis
and
probably
thinks,
knows he's here.
Finally, the time has come once again to give those deities what's coming to them.
And just like that, using his time rings, Vegeta opens up a portal back to his
That nigga
timeline,
Vegeta just spilled all the
but
beans
into
and shit.
an unknown universe.
For no reason.
And staring into the dark void with his angel staff in hand, his final words to Gero are,
Goodbye, Gero. You may think Cell was your greatest creation, but this arm you built me will go on to change everything you could ever imagine. Stay safe.
And with that, Vegito then enters the portal and leaves this timeline for what should hopefully be the last time.
That's fire.
Help!
But unfortunately, some weeks pass and a healthy, grown Cell is finally seen, standing over his prey as with his usually sadistic voice says,
And he starts sucking niggas up. All did
I
he?
love it when my food screams. As Cell iconically then stabs the old man in his back.
Oh, that's the Cell from the
and
future,
slowly
or is that the Cell
sucks
from
into himself
that timeline?
the very life force that held the man together, leaving behind nothing but a husk in its remains. But soon enough,
That definitely
a
Cell
pair
from the
of
future.
familiar and respect-demanding feet land on the ground in front of the strange creature.
Piccolo.
And it is revealed to be none other than Piccolo, now fused with Kami after witnessing the power of Ultra Vegito. As the Namekian yells out,
You done picking on people who can't fight back? How about you deal with me now? Gladly, brother.
but soon we see a close-up of Imperfect Cell's face, and this is no ordinary Cell, as his eyes glisten with a classic Ultra Instinct shine
Oh, yeah.
before then
Piccolo's
uttering
cooked.
the most unthinkable of words.
Hakai!
Oh,
What?
shit.
Brother!
As instantly, Piccolo, along with the Dragon Balls, disappear forever.
They were disappeared already.
Erased by a God of Destruction technique performed by a bio-android that Vegito had unknowingly helped create.
No!
Mr. Piccolo! As back on Kami's lookout, where Krillin, Trunks, Gohan and Vegeta gathered to train for the arrival of the pink blob that Vegito had warned them of, each Z-Fighter reacts in shock, horror and sadness as they sense the death and disappearance of their trusted friend. And so, under the guidance of Mr. Popo, instead of heading straight for Cell and losing for sure, each would go into the hyperbolic time chamber to train. The first being Vegeta and his son Trunks,
Y'all about to get
who
cooked
would
too.
both go
Y'all might
on
as well
to
just
ascend to the next stage of Super Saiyan. While Gohan would train with Krillin, as Goku at this time still remained bedridden. Gohan still though would unlock his Super Saiyan form after
Wait,
the
Krillin?
many nightmares thinking of the death of his master Piccolo.
Okay, that
While
works.
Krillin, in his attempt to keep up, would attain a new level of power, but one that was still far from being anywhere close to the Saiyans. And so, the three Saiyans would gather together and attempt to fight this new being, Cell, at the same time. But on Cell's activation of Ultra Instinct, each and every one of them would be left in shock.
Whoa!
No! That looks the same as... And ultimately, with unbelievable ease, Imperfect Cell would go on to kill not only Vegeta, future Trunks, but also Teen Gohan,
Oh,
absorbing
shit.
each of them into his body after combining their brimming Saiyan life force with his own and reaching an even greater level of power. Now, only Goku is left as the last remaining Saiyan, as he soon, in the next few hours, will wake up and discover what's happened while he was away. And all because
Gohan.
of Ultra Vegito.
Gohan wouldn't go out there and fought if he saw Trunks.
But
and
that was
Vegeta
it for today's
die.
video, guys. And if you made
I
it
don't
this
know.
far, leave me a hashtag
Krillin won't let him fight.
UltraCell in the...
It'll be tough. Ooh, that boy. Oh. Cell done fucked them all up though. Damn. I like shit. I love this story. I love this story. Damn, he had to get my name Gohan though. Fuck. Ultra Vegito dumbass giving Dr. Giro the whole juice. They gave him the whole game plan. Like, damn, nigga, say something. Don't tell him everything, but stupidity. Anyway, Vegeta, that is some Vegeta and Goku type shit. They'll do some shit like that. Anyway, you like my reactions, so like, comment, subscribe. Check out the last chapter right here. Check out another video right here. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.